Hello, my good friends. Welcome to the show. My name is Jack Chow on East West Show with the G&E TV. Every time when something new happens here, I'll sneak around, find it and bring it here, right? So it happens here this time of the show. I have to bring you this great lady, great friend of mine, and also with a great news that she carries along.
Oh,
right?
yes.
Very good. She's Nina Bosky, a good friend of mine, an active person in the Hollywood circle, engaged in many productions, right?
Yes.
Nina, welcome to the show.
Oh, it's so nice to be here.
All
Thank
right.
you, Jack.
Of course. I know that you're here not only for the reason that you have a beautiful face, but for the fact that you have a beautiful project.
Yes.
Right? Can we learn something about it, please?
Well, it's a beautiful project about a beautiful woman that most of us
Yeah, about a beautiful woman, right? Okay,
Yes,
I'm ready.
Ooh. Well, and it's also about a Hollywood murder.
Yes,
as we like to
everything
say.
combined.
A Hollywood
about
death.
money, about power, about beauty, about sex, about everything.
Yeah, you know, it's actually about Marilyn Monroe.
Oh, Marilyn Monroe, what a name.
Yeah,
All right,
and
okay.
so the project really is, a lot has been done around her over the years, but nothing has really been done around the last 3 days of her life and what was leading up to her death. So we're doing a movie around the death of Marilyn.
A movie?
Yes, a movie.
And the title of the movie?
It's called Goodnight Marilyn.
Goodnight Marilyn.
Yes.
All right. Okay,
And it's a film noir, so almost like a LA Confidential a little bit. It's not a documentary. A lot of people will ask me.
It's not a
It's
documentary.
not a documentary. It is an entertainment feature film, and it's about the last 3 days of her life and all the experiences and events that were leading up to her death. And I don't know about you, but for myself, I knew that she was a Hollywood legend before I got involved, but there is layers upon layers to who she is as a person and also in terms of how she died.
Yeah, exactly. I learned the name when I was very little, right? And of course, the beautiful pictures, the skirts,
Oh, yeah,
when the wind
yeah.
blowing up.
Yeah.
That is my first image about her. And then later, when we learned about the controversy, there are zillions of different stories, different versions of stories
Yes.
about her, the controversy of her time.
Yes.
And then later subside quite a bit. It wasn't until recent years did I see some rerun, or new discoveries about the figure,
Yeah.
the beautiful woman, about this excellent woman. Well, did we pay attention to? Probably somebody should do something to it.
Yes,
right?
yes.
Now we're talking about you getting involved in the name of?
Yeah, in the name of Goodnight Marilyn. So
Goodnight Marilyn.
Yeah. So the movie Goodnight Marilyn, and you bring up a really interesting point because Marilyn, at the time of her death, although popular, wasn't as popular as she is today. She is the third largest grossing icon next to Michael Jackson and Elvis Presley, and both of those two icons have music libraries.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
So when you look at, there's not a lot of other actresses or actors for that matter that have the longevity of over 50 years. And so
exactly.
And also 20 years ago at her 30th anniversary, there was there was a lot said about it, but nothing really being done and not anything really being exposed. Now you have the diluted aspect of the Kennedys' power. The mob isn't as front and center as it used to be.
I see.
And so I think some of these events that were tucked away and hidden now I think have a space to be able to come forward.
Sure. Not only was the name famous, it was influential.
Yeah.
It was so influential that during my time, back then I was in China. I was born in China, by the way.
Yeah.
We know number one, her name is number one.
Yeah.
The
Wow.
second to her is Shirley Temple.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
I love Shirley
Marilyn
Temple.
Monroe, Shirley Temple, if you stop anybody my age with a Chinese face like this, like the one I'm wearing,
Yeah.
you ask, and the answer is Marilyn Monroe, Shirley
Shirley
Temple.
Temple.
They are the most two beautiful American women.
Oh, and Shirley Temple was
Right.
one of my favorites too.
Oh,
she
yeah,
just
of
recently
course.
passed away. I don't know.
Yeah. So, and now question is that you didn't decide to do this quite long ago, right?
Yes.
It was recently. Was it recently you either have the investment or you have extra source of information? I'm not teasing. I'm not teasing my audience. I'm just trying to
Yes,
look into
yes,
it, right?
yes.
Okay, now, extra source of information or discoveries or any kind of push or support?
Well, I think that it's been part of the reason why all the fans of Marilyn
Mm-hmm.
Monroe have this kind of burning feeling of that it's just not, there's something off about it, is because when you really look at the events of that night and what took place, whether you thought that it was an accidental overdose, I think at this point there's enough evidence out there to say that she didn't commit suicide, that you think she was murdered, or a combination of both, that meaning that
Alright.
she accidentally overdosed, but then there was, let's say, a cover-up. There's a lot of, there's about 4 different theories out there, right? But regardless of that, is that there was definitely a cover-up. And so then the question is, who covered it up and why?
Why cover it up?
Exactly,
Why cover
exactly.
it up, right?
And so there's been information that has been coming forward that starts to speak to this information that's been floating out there. And I think now you can then take a next step to say, okay, let's at least create a petition, because it was actually happening 20 years ago, Jack, that there was going to be a petition.
Oh, you mean the petition?
Yeah, petition to then deem her her death not a suicide, just like
see.
what happened with Natalie Wood.
Okay.
But to this day, on her death certificate, it says suicide.
Still-
and the
still
reality is
suicide.
that there's so much evidence that if you could reopen this case, that you could actually prove that she did not actively commit suicide.
The questions are hanging, right?
Yeah.
Was it a suicide? Was it an accidental overdose? Or was it something else? Or was it a combination of all the three?
Yeah,
be.
and also, a lot of times what you'll hear when you ask people if they think she was murdered, it's either the Kennedys or the mob. And then if you dig deeper, you actually could probably invite the CIA in there, which is kind of interesting, because I don't think, this is my own personal opinion.
You raise a very serious question,
Yes,
also
yes.
very serious point though.
Yeah.
During the preparation or the cooking of this huge project,
Yeah.
do you have any support or any influence or any interferences
Yeah.
from the Kennedys?
Well, here's the thing. This is the beauty about this project. We don't go out. We're not out to call names and say that the Kennedys did it. This is not really what this movie's
No,
about. It's presenting opportunities for certain people that were involved, but we don't take the viewpoint that the Kennedys actively killed Marilyn Monroe.
All
That
right,
just to
okay.
make that clear. But some people do think that. I mean, whether
No.
with yeah.
As of how
Yeah.
people will think, that's
Yeah.
a different story. Right? I'm
Yes.
only asking,
Yes.
did you say that or do you say that?
No, we don't. So
You
we
don't
do
say
not
that.
say that at all.
Yeah, let
yeah.
people enjoy the American freedom
Exactly.
to think exactly what they want to think. Maybe Jack Chow killed her.
It
Who
poses
knows?
questions.
Right, it poses the questions.
And I think that's
number
important,
one.
don't you
yeah.
think?
Of course, that's
Yeah,
very important.
yeah.
And number two, I know the case has been a huge subject of FBI information,
Yes,
right?
yes.
I mean, investigation.
Yes.
Right? So, same question, do you have any
Not
support,
from the FBI, not from-
investigation?
yeah.
I mean, interferences or
No,
whatever from FBI point of view?
Yeah, I think that if we were to do this 10 years ago, even 5 years ago, there's so much information now coming out from the CIA and the FBI files that were hidden and confidential
All right.
that are now being revealed. It's almost like enough time has passed that the players involved are not necessarily
No longer
on the hook, so to
no
speak.
longer on the
It's
hook.
more a part of history versus an immediate, experience of.
And call it a say also, a natural time involvement?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Am I right? Am I safe to say so?
Yeah, I think so. And also, the thing is that I think with the documentaries that are out there, there's so much information out there in terms of fact and theories, right, about Marilyn Monroe, but there's never really been an entertaining kind of feature film that makes you go into the lives of who she was at that time and the players involved. So it really kind of speaks to that time, and even though it is based on fact, it's still an entertainment feature film that is there to you know, expose and to explore your emotions.
Rather, you say that you just lay out the facts.
Yes,
right?
yes, yes.
Right. In the entertainment way, in the form of a film.
Yeah, yeah.
But not a documentary.
Yeah.
To what?
So one of the, to what is one, the petition, right? I think that's an important part of this film. We would really like for Marilyn fans to have some type of vindication, right? Marilyn fans are very divided on what happened to her. So you can't necessarily go into this film and say, you know, that we are doing a fact-filled film. But what we can say is that through this process, some wonderful things are going to happen to keep her name in the way that I think she would want to be honored. I think I mean, if Marilyn were here, let's just say, or she's in the spirit form, right? I think one of the things that I think any of us would like to have as our legacy be what is more truthful versus than...
You're talking about her dignity too.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Okay. Back to my audience, today is the only chance ever since I'm involved in TV activity. We're talking about Marilyn Monroe. Well, there are many times talking about her film, but talking about her as a person is the first time. And talking about her with her story is the first time.
Yes.
Talking about her with a film depicting the last 3 days of her life is, of course, the first time. I would say first time on earth.
Yeah, and also not only that. I mean, I think there's been biopics on her, but not from this angle. And
From
you
this
really, I mean,
angle.
Jack,
From
this
the
is
angle.
we're at the very beginning of this, so this is really kind of a fun process for me to be here today.
All right, good.
Yeah,
So let's take a short moment out. When we come back, we'll find out the story. Find out with the story. What is this? All right. So stay there.